Hey everybody, welcome back to our Knightquest, the Crusade coverage. I've got a bit of a cold today, so hopefully I won't sneeze, and hopefully I won't sound too weird. But we're going to look at Shadow of the Bat number 24, which came out February 94. Cover date came out a little bit earlier than that in newsstands. This book takes place, a little bit, or came out a little bit before the Joker story as the director, so we're kind of going out of order. But these books, Shadow the Bat, Batman, Detective, Catwoman, Showcase, Robin, they were all coming out at the same time. Shadow the Bat was featuring some Brian Steffries covers. This one is really cool. And in this one, Jean-Paul as Bats is, I think he's very heroic in this one. He's not too over the edge, not too crazy. I think people like me who were reading these all along, liked a lot about Jean-Paul Valley because of kind of stories like this. So Shadow of the Bat kind of opened it up at the time with a title page. So we got Alan Grant as the writer and Vince Gariano as the artists, and Andrea Roy, who, as you all know, I absolutely love her coloring. And starts off... Vince's artwork is very surreal, kind of in a different way than Kelly Jones, but also very cool. Kind of a little image comic-y, competing for that, but also cool. And it starts off Batman, he's on the waterfront, and he uses his audio commands to enhance vision, which is something we did not see in the Joker story. We didn't see Batman using visual commands, but we did in the Catwoman story. And so there's a woman here. She doesn't speak English. She speaks Spanish. She's being accosted here on the waterfront, and here comes Batman. That is really cool to save her. And these punks, once they see Batman, they're like, all right, forget it. We're out of here. And Azrael, Batman, is thinking, all right, a lot of my reputation is starting to get out there. And these punks kind of like try to give up, but Batman is like, haha, no way, I am taking you down. And when I saw this artwork, I was like, this needs to be a live action movie. How cool would it be to see an actor in that kind of armor and battle fighting? That Zack Snyder needs to do that. And especially with those claws, kind of scary. So Batman gives these guys a beat down. And I did want to mention that this guy, I liked his goggles. They're very Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns. And you can see in another scene those goggles go flying. So then Batman tries to talk to her, and he doesn't understand Spanish. But then, thanks to the system, he does understand Spanish. And here's the one part where Azrael's kind of a jerk. He's kind of a jerk to her because she's an illegal immigrant. But then she finds out that she's here to buy her baby back, and then we get a flashback. So I don't know if this is her telling Batman, I guess it is, about how where she was from, which they never quite say. A specific place, but it was just rough. There was a civil war going on, soldiers fighting. They took her husband away, and the only way to get her husband back was to sell her baby. And so Batman really doesn't want any part of this until she says, wouldn't your mother have tried to find you? And that's when Jean-Paul realizes he doesn't even know his mother, and it strikes him. Here at GCPD, this is kind of funny, I thought. We've got a guy here. He's just passed a lie detector test. There's no evidence that says he's the murderer of his wife. And there's no, what does it say? No fingerprints, no murder weapon, no witnesses. But somehow Gordon just knows that this guy is the killer. Disregarding all evidence, Gordon is out to get this guy. And then... here's Batman's signal here, and we get a little more flashback story about how she sold the baby, and how it's this sort of black market deal, and her son had seen the van and seen the license plate and found out that the baby was not going to California, but going to horrible Gotham. Then on the rooftop here, they have a little chat. Here again, I did not like the way Commissioner Gordon is portrayed, because when Batman tells it to him about the illegal baby smuggling ring in Gotham, his response is like, oh, great, that's all we need. Instead of, let's get these bad guys and let's have justice done and let's put them away, he's just like, PR nightmare. But anyway, so not the best Gordon story. So then Gordon explains his trouble about how this guy's beaten the lie detector test, and this is just comical. This is just bad. I think Bazbats goes, "Oh well, it's self-hypnosis. That's how he does it." And then of course, look, Gordon throws his arms up. Of course, he says hypnosis. Of course, right? Like who wouldn't know that? He hypnotized himself before he did it to make him forget he'd done it afterwards. Like of course, that happens all the time, doesn't it? It still doesn't explain why there's no fingerprints or evidence or what murder weapon or anything else. And in that case, why can't we all just go to jail for every crime? And they say, well, you hypnotized yourself before you did it. And you forgot you hypnotized yourself and you forgot you did it. So therefore you did it. So yeah, kind of that kind of makes me scratch my head. But anyway, let's go here. This is a cool splash page of Batman, and I like how it's got a lot of paper, and the artist put his name in there too, and it's I am the Batman. So then we get a little more flashback of the story of when the mother tried to use the money that she had bought or sold her baby for to get her husband out of jail, and turns out he died in jail. So all of it was for nothing. And so here Batman does some investigation. I don't know how he types on a keyboard with those claws. What shouldn't it stick there? Doesn't find anything in the computers. Talks about how he hates detective work, which kind of, the title character of Detective Comics, talking about how he hates detective work. So he plants a bug in the system here. And then he gets a little vision from Saint Dumas because it wouldn't be a Jean-Paul Valley book without that. And then he goes out to the night thinking about his mother. And then we get a little backstory of the couple that is going to get the baby and how that they can't conceive. And so, but haha, I know another way you can get a baby. And then there's, what part of the Batcave is that? And what equipment is that? I know it's artistic license, but that just is kind of a little ridiculous. And then, vroom, Batman hears about the shady deal. And this couple here is ready to buy their baby. And Batman has a little talk to him. But then when he goes to where the meet and greet is, the people who are bringing the babies realize that something's up because the lights aren't on. But Batman sees this, tracks after the van. The people try to shoot at him. Once again, this was not an Asbat story unless someone gets a batarang in the forearm. Van goes out of control. They just jump out, leaving all these babies. Batman jumps to the rescue. Instead of going after the bad guys, he goes to save the babies. Very heroic. Some non-dialogue pages here. I like the eyes. Oh my goodness, they're going to crash, but I don't know why it says bash if they don't crash. But anyway, Batman saves the kids, holds the baby, very heroic, and knock, 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 that couple that had a baby and that they've been raising, now Jim Gordon's here to arrest them and take the baby back, and Batman knows. He wonders about his mother and the system, but, overall, he's pretty heroic in this one. He's not some crazy, gonna murder everybody vigilante. He saved the babies, broke the illegal ring, helped Jim Gordon with the hypnotized criminal. So, this is kind of the Jean-Paul Valley Batman at his best. So next issue is Joe Public and Birth of a Hero. And I think we'll continue with the Shadow of the Bat series for a couple of these issues. So I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.